Damn, I need a shave. Hey guys, it's me, Retronaut. It feels weird calling myself that because I haven't really made a video like with myself talking to you, the viewer, in a long time. I kind of wanted just to make a video just for fun. You know, this is what YouTube is supposed to be for. It's become so corporate. I mean, that's obvious. It's quite obvious now what's going on with YouTube. Brought to you by LaCroix. I'm a big seltzer fan. I kind of want to just to talk about life, I guess. Vent, maybe more or less. I don't know. Um, I guess there's been a lot of things on my mind recently. I I tend to dwell on the past a lot, more than I really should. And I know it's an unhealthy thing to do. But man, there's a lot of things I wish I did differently in life. And I feel like it's kind of stupid. I'm only 22. I'm just starting my life, you know? For God's sakes, I still live with my parents. You know, I've made videos in this very room for the past 12 years. I think it's been that long since I've been YouTube on. I think it's been that long. Um, I started my channel late December 2014, so yeah, just about 12 years almost. Oh, excuse me. I feel I consider myself a pretty sentimental person, and there's a lot of people that were in my life who aren't in my life anymore, either by choice or just mistakes I've made. And you know, I'm sure everybody's experienced this to some extent in their life. But I really do wish I did things differently. When I was in college, oh man, 2023, that was like my second or third semester. Um, I had what I'd consider a pretty solid friend group. Most of these people who I've actually met in college, I went to a community college right by where I live. And looking back, I'm glad I don't associate with a lot of them anymore, but at the same time, there are a few that really I miss a lot. I miss a lot, and things won't be the same between us due to mistakes I made. Um, I don't know. That's just life. You know, life is strange. But I try not to think about it, but it's just so easy just to go back and just I guess reminisce. I feel like I was a pretty different person. Well, not entirely different, but a lot of things a lot of things I felt like I did differently. Maybe not for the best. Because at least in my experience, when you're like 18 to 20, I felt like I was invincible. I felt like I could do anything. You know, like the hottest girl in college finds interest in you and you feel like you're unstoppable. And let me just say, I've tainted a lot of friendships in the past because of that when I was in college. Anyways, I don't even know why I'm talking about this. I just have a lot in my head that I feel like it's better to put into words, you know. And I guess I'm recording this just because I know I'm not talking to myself entirely. Who knows if I'll even make this public or not. Anyways, what else has been going on in my life, man? I'm working full time. I graduated college 2024 in media arts degree. I'd like to utilize that more. That consists of photography and video, which is what I mainly wanted to go to college for. I'm also like graphic design, but I was never really big into that. Um, but I try to utilize what I learned as much as I can. It's hard to stay motivated a lot, especially when you're working a lot, and also music. As you can probably see, I got my, well, you can see the cymbal in the background, but that's my drum kit right here. We have band practice here we try to every week or so. But yeah, music has definitely been a big uh, part of my life in the past 5 years, just about. We released our album in September, and that was kind of like it was a good feeling, you know. These songs we've been working on for the past 6 years or so. It's nice to put them out there and show the world, I'm sure any musician can say that, especially if you're releasing music for the first time onto a legitimate platform. So, yeah, if you haven't listened to it already, check out Unearthly Powers by Polar Identity on all streaming platforms. We're working on a lot of new stuff. We have a new bass player. She's been working out great. We've gone through 4 different bass players, but that's life. Things happen. Man, what else? I've been working. I'm a gardener at a casino, which is really specific now that I actually say what I do for a living. But honestly, I really enjoy it. It's really nice working with plants and growing things from seed and kind of obviously watching them grow and put them in gardens, and it's really rewarding, and it's fun planning the gardens, and you get to look through all these magazines with different flowers and be like, oh, I want to grow that. That'd look good somewhere. But yeah, that's what I do for a living, and it's honestly been really fun. I've been doing it for the past year. Before that, I worked at a plant nursery. Just about every actual job I've worked at, I've dealt with plants. I worked in a grocery store for a little while, in the produce section. So I guess that has something to do with plants to an extent. But yeah, I'm trying to like think of things to talk about. I feel like my life is really boring, but at the same time, it's not, because I'd consider myself to be pretty social. I have a pretty solid group of friends, and usually we hang out and just go out drinking somewhere. Where I live, it's almost spring right now, but it's been so fucking cold lately, and it's very unmotivating. Seasonal depression is a very real thing, and on my days off, I don't want to fucking do anything. I don't want to go outside. It's fucking cold and miserable. But spring is approaching, and I feel, every early spring, I'm just so relieved that it's gonna be warm outside. I don't have to fucking deal with that shit anymore. But yeah, that's something to look forward to. I just want to travel. I want to get into my car or one of my friends' cars and just go somewhere. But yeah. That's how I feel right now. I am not a winter person by any means whatsoever. I guess one of my plans is I eventually want to, I don't know if I want to move to, but at least live in Australia for a while, because I have dual citizenship. Half my family is from there, and I never get to see them. Last time I was there was February of 2015, and that was 11 years ago. A lot has changed in 11 years. Crazy to think about. I was 11. Man. But yeah, it's definitely something I want to do, and I tell that to my friends, and like, oh, weren't you worried about all the creepy crawlies and the scary creatures and animals that live there? And it's like, I understand where they're coming from, but in my experience, most Australians, like, they don't worry about that. Well, obviously, because they've lived there their whole lives, just about, and they're not worried about, oh, hope I don't get bitten by a venomous snake or something. Well, I'm sure there is that fear to an extent, but if you're, not unless you're like asking for it or something. No, I'm just kidding. But that is definitely something I want to do in the near future. I haven't made actual videos in a while, and I want to get together with my friends again, because my friend Gage, who you've probably seen in a lot of these videos, he's like one of my closest friends. We were always hanging out. We always come up with like video ideas, because I think our sense of humor, we like work off each other really well, in terms of our humor, or we kind of like riff really well. But ever since I graduated college, it's just, I really got to get into the zone. That's what I got to do. So obviously I'd like to make more skit kind of videos at some point. I want to get better at that, and I actually have a lot of friends who are pretty serious about wanting to make like short films, or like even like a feature-length movie, and I'm like, obviously I'd love to get involved in a project like that. Hopefully once it gets warmer out, we can really start doing that. But yeah, I know a lot of my videos have been like Animal Collective bootlegs, and I've been doing that since I was in 9th grade, which is crazy to think about. I don't upload them like crazy often, but goddamn, since ninth grade, since I was a freshman in high school, I'm graduated from college now. Oh, back to that college thing, man. I don't know if I ever want to go back to college. I feel like with what I went to school for, I feel like I'm at a good point in terms of the things I've learned. I mean, there's always a possibility maybe I'll go back, but at the same time, it's like, God, I don't want to be in debt forever because it's so fucking expensive. I want to save my money, you know? Um, I guess one of my biggest goals right now in terms of in the grand scheme of things is I want to save up to buy a house. And I know the American dream is dead and that's not as easy as it probably used to be, but I'm motivated. Um, yeah, I mean, maybe it's a stupid thing to think about, but my dream is to buy a fixer upper, fix that up, and live in it, rent it out, sell it, or something. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been looking into lately. Um, but yeah, I feel like there's so much on my mind because I haven't made a video like. In fact, I don't think I've ever really made a video talking about my life. um, Uploading it to the wonderful world of YouTube.com. But yeah, I don't know. Lately I've been getting recommended a lot of these videos on YouTube of young creators who it's just them and a camera like in their rooms just talking about life. And I love to see that. That's what YouTube was truly made for. It's about broadcasting yourself. It's not about fucking making money. Hey, if your job is YouTube, that's great. That's something that you truly enjoy. But everything is just so monetized. It's just ugh. Everywhere you go, there's a commercial. I know that's just the way things are, but oof. That was my iPod. I still use an iPod. In fact, I got this last year. um, if you know me personally, not too long ago, I recently I got off social media pretty much entirely. I deleted Instagram, Discord. I got rid of Reddit, Facebook. Yeah, I had Facebook. Um, Most recently Snapchat, and for me that was, I guess, the hardest thing for me to get rid of since I've had it for so long. I've had it since I was in seventh or eighth grade. Still in middle school, and that's a pretty popular social media app. I've met a lot of friends through there, but one day I was like, that was weird. My uh, MacBook just fucking turned off, but it's still recording, so I guess I'll keep talking. Oh man, this video is like 20 minutes long. I'm probably gonna trim this down a bit, but we'll see. I know I'm yapping. If you're still listening, thanks for listening. um, but yeah, one day I was just like, okay, I need to just get off social media because I don't want to. Social media for me is just very distracting, because I want to live in the moment. One thing I'll miss about Snapchat is, or one thing I do sort of miss, is, you know, just posting random bullshit on my Snapchat story or whatever. Um, but yeah, well, first thing I did before I deleted my account, I backed up all my memories, saved all that stuff, and I deleted my account entirely, and I feel pretty good about it. I have zero social media besides like YouTube, but I don't know if you can really count that because that's very different. Well, no, I think it is technically social media, but you know, it's very different from Instagram and uh, Snapchat. I guess. I mean, I guess it is similar in some ways, but yeah. And Instagram, I didn't delete my account entirely. I actually deactivated it so I could bring it back anytime I want. Because, you know, I've thought about coming back someday because I do miss posting photos. You know, but one thing I do want to do is I want to like print out every photo, not every photo, but a lot of my favorite photos that I've taken and just make a photo album. You know, that's something I got to get around to doing. Oh, anyway, circling back to what I was talking about before, my YouTube account. I know it's been a lot of Animal Collective stuff, and more recently, a lot of like found footage sort of stuff. Not too long ago, well, actually maybe like last summer, I bought a box full of 8mm and Super 8 home movies at a flea market for like $10-15. Like, it was a really cheap amount for what it was, and I'm still going through them. I have a box still full of them. I went through all my 8mm ones. I'm going through the Super 8 ones. And honestly, it's pretty cool. I know it's kind of a weird hobby, like going through someone else's memories pretty much, but it's really interesting to me because it gives you a glimpse, like a very intimate and candid glimpse into the past. You know, a lot of these movies range from the 40s all the way up into the 80s, and it's really interesting to me. And there's like this excitement to it because these home movies haven't been seen in like such a long time too, by anyone, I'm assuming. So yeah, I know my channel has been kind of just a lot of archival kind of shit, but eventually, yes, I would like to make more original skits or stuff like that, or even just videos talking. I like talking about my life, you know, trying to put my thoughts into words. Like I said in the beginning, it's hard for me a lot of the time, but yeah. If you stuck around this long, you know, thank you again. Yeah, I've kind of ran out of things to talk to, but you know, I like to engage with my subscribers. You know, there's like what 600 of you or something. So please feel free to leave a comment. You know, I love talking to you guys really about anything. And of course, if you guys have any sort of things that you'd like to see, let me know, and I'll try to reciprocate in the best way I can. So yeah. Once again, thank you guys so much. If you stuck around this long. Anyways, I'll be signing off now. You guys enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.